Well, howdy doody, folks. Welcome to Mower Mike's. Today we have a special guest, Dr. Bob. Now, Dr. Bob's a strong silent type, so he might not say much, but he's going to do all the work in this video. So today we are talking about Dr. Bob's broke-ass log splitter. It came stock from Harbor Freight with the Chinese-built liquid combustion technology, the CT136 series, which is a total piece of junk engine. It's a 136cc engine. This one here has a bad coil on, and I have tried finding a coil all over the internet, Bob, and I can't find one. I bought 3, nothing fits. So that's the problem with these Chinese engines, is finding parts to fix them. But the good thing is you can go on the Amazon and buy one. I had this thing shipped to my door, $149. It's crazy. So what we're gonna do today, we're going to test it out. First, we're going to go through the measurements of the engine so you can see where the bolt patterns are and see if it's going to hook up to your application. And then we're going to strap it on this crappy log splitter and see how she splits. Now, Dr. Bob, we're going from 136cc to 212cc. I think it's going to make this log splitter, rip. It could get a little dangerous. Because you know what they say, Bob? There's no replacement for displacement, and we're going up in displacement, so we're gonna see what happens here. So first, what we're gonna do, let's go ahead and zoom in on this bad boy and measure it out, and then I'm gonna get Dr. Bob to strap her in, so stay with us. All right, so let's measure where it's going to hook up to your application. Now, one thing to notice, all these engines, these cheap Chinese knockoffs, they're all based on the GX series Honda engines. So all your hookups should be the same as a Honda. If you look at the build, it's all pretty much the same. So if we go around here and we got our trusty old school ruler, 2.5 by 2.5. So it's a straight square, 2.5 all the way around. And then your shaft coming out when you're flush is just over 2.5. And then the width of your shaft, if you're looking at the girth, what we got there? The girth is 0.85 inches. So do the math on that. Don't know what that is. All right, so, and then the next important part is the bottom. This is where you're gonna bolt on your engine. So if we got our trusty ruler here, 6.5 wide by 3.5 width. So that should be a standard strap-on size. I don't know what standard strap-on size, but that is the width of the bottom of it. All right, so next we're gonna strap it on here. We're gonna do a very short film of actually putting on the log splitter, and then we're gonna split some logs, so stay with me. All right, Bob, make sure you're warmed up. You got a good stretch in. Now this engine probably weighs what, about 25 pounds? Yeah, so it's gonna be a stretch for Bob. You know, back in the day, Bob and I used to play rugby together. Yep, I knocked the piss out of Bob back in the day, I'll tell you what. All right, Bob, just kidding. Bob's built like a tree trunk. All right, look at that. Oh yeah, it slides right on there. Now, even though this engine is much larger, it has the same bolt pattern. So you should be able to go up in cc size, and it doesn't have a horsepower rating. So what I'm thinking is that, you know, these engines aren't as good as a Honda, but they make them a much larger cc. So I think the displacement actually makes up for the poor engine design that these things must have. But man, it sure is pretty. Look at that. Oh, Bob, he's been through training here at Mower Mike's. Yep. All right. Well, we're gonna strap it in and make sure the strap-on's the right size for you, Bob.
I like strap-ons.
Bob likes big black strap-ons.
This one's blue.
Blue. Ooh, it's got like an alien. All right, enough 7th grade humor. We're gonna come back when we strap on the hydraulic cylinder pump thingy and wrap this thing up. All right, folks, so Bob has got the engine strapped in with the 4 bolts. Next, you've got to make sure to treat your shaft correctly. Now, this one had a coupler on it. So do you have the coupler, Bob, you can slide on there? Just kind of slides on like a condom, doesn't it, Bob? And then...
I wouldn't know. Never used one.
Then you put your key on there. Make sure to put the key on there because that key is what applies the power to our hydraulic pump. How'd that one fit? That feel good, Bob?
Feels nice.
All right, good.
Slid right in there.
Slid right on there. Next, now we've got our hydraulic pump. This is super easy. Yeah, we're gonna slide that on there It's probably gonna have to line up somehow or another, Bob. I'm not quite sure.
Do that.
All right.
Tell everybody there's a piece inside.
There's a piece inside, and so we're taking out that. So that coupler there, as you can see, it's gonna slide on. And then it has splines on the back, which should make this. So that one has splines on the back, which should make it a little easier. Come on, get that greasy bastard on there, Bob. You got it.
This hose is in the way.
It came off. There we go. There we go. Oh, buddy. Gonna do a little twisterooski. Yeah. Oh, look at that. How's that feel? Does that feel like it went home?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's in.
Then we just take our full 4 bolts. So that was definitely a little trickier than I thought it would be. Now, one thing to notice on the Harbor Freight log splitters, when I took the old engine off, all the bolts were just barely hand tight because apparently they don't have torque wrenches in the Chinese Harbor Freight factory. But Bob's gonna put the right torque on there. You get them big forearms. You gonna use your right arm, Bob, I assume? Put a little tighten. All right.
Sometimes I like to use the left arm, surprise myself a little bit.
Put it a switch hitter.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I think we've got it wrapped up here. We're just gonna tighten up these bolts, and then we're gonna see if this sucker starts. But first, what we're gonna do, we're gonna put a little oil in there, because remember, these engines do not come with oil, so we've got it strapped in, but remember, these are shipped without oil. They just have assembly lube in them. So you gotta make sure to put the right amount of oil in it. In the instruction manual, it'll tell you how much. This one takes 0.53 quarts, so that's just 1 cup of oil. I suggest getting your wife's measuring cup out of the kitchen to measure the correct amount. Type of oil, any 5W30, 10W30. I use Amsoil, I like it the best. I'll put a link to this stuff down below, and also some different options on the Amazon. So, I just broke my light. All right, so I'm gonna fill this thing up. We're gonna skip that boring part, and then we're gonna get to some live action log splitting. All right, she is looking good. Now, Bob, let's walk through the 10 people watching how to actually start this engine. First thing you wanna do, you go over here to the ignition switch, on, off. It's got an electronic ignition switch. Pretty dang fancy, that bright blue paint. Then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over here, and it has a fuel shutoff valve, so you're gonna push that to the right, turns it on, and then the top one, that white one, you're gonna turn it to the right. That's gonna be your choke on, as you can see. Yes, Bob, we all see it. So choke it on, and then once it starts, you're gonna choke it off just a touch. And then up here's your throttle. So I assume, I didn't read the instructions. I think to the right is all the way on. So that should be, oh, wait, look at that. Dr. Bob doesn't have a PhD for a reason. From Texas Tech. All right, so I think we're ready to start. Bob, do you think this is gonna work? What do you think? No? No faith. He has no faith in my repair capabilities.
Ready?
All right, let her rip. Holy cow, that was a first pull. There we go. There we go. Bob, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Will it split a log? Will it split? Uh-oh. Look at that sumbitch work. That is awesome. That is awesome. Bob, you got a bigger log? We need a big log. Oh, man. That thing is just turned, baby. Look at that built hard. I tell you what, I might be a new built hard man, just for the name. You can see that extra CC is really making a difference splitting them logs. Uh-oh, uh-oh, we're getting a big log now, watch out. Yeah, that's the strongest wood there is.
It's mesquite.
Mesquite, excuse me. Oh, it just eats it for breakfast. There's no issues there. What a deal. What an engine. I tell you what, I'm impressed. I think that's a damn good engine. What do you think, Bob?
And it took us less than 30 minutes to put it in and
Less
get it
than
going.
30 minutes. Now, Bob, tell me, does that work better than the old 136?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Do you think it's running smoother, quicker, faster, stronger?
Absolutely.
All of that? Okay. Yeah, no, I'm quite impressed. I'm gonna put an Amazon link, of course, below if you want to get one of these guys. They do come in different CCs. But what we're gonna do next, because Mower Mike did buy this engine for Dr. Bob, so we're gonna have to go into negotiations. So Bob, we're gonna have to grab a couple of them bush lights and go back into talk.
Let's do it.
Well, Bob, I think that was a successful fix. What are you thinking over there?
Made in China.
Made in China. It's not the only thing made in China in here. I'm trying to stay away from racial comments.
I was
Bob.
born in the U.S. of A, sir.
But you got a little flavor in you.
Okay. Born in the U.S. of A. But
Yes.
thank you very much for insulting my ancestors.
I did not insult you,
It's
Bob.
okay. It's all right.
Okay.
Trump 2024.
Let's get down to brass tacks. Now, there's an engine storage fee, there's the engine purchase, there's the install charge, all from Mower Mike. So,
Oh, is there?
yeah.
Okay.
And I deal in cash, Bob.
Well,
You got first offer?
let's see what Dr. Bob's got in his wallet.
Okay, let's see.
Well, I've got $3 actually.
$3.
$3, and I figure
$3.
from the other engines that I've brought you that you could scrap, and the other things that I've brought you that you couldn't fix that you could scrap, I feel like we're pretty even.
Well, Bob, you do have a point. Now, most of my viewers don't realize that the only reason I have a channel is because of Dr. Bob. Because Bob brings over all of his broke crap. I'd say 2/3 of the things I fix on my channel are Dr. Bob's items, of which only half I'm able to actually fix. The other half gets thrown away. I'm really not that great at fixing stuff. So I like to just give you this motor, Bob.
Well, I refuse because I'm a giver, Mike. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a giver.
You're a giver.
And I appreciate all that you have done to help my lawn business flourish over the last few years. So I would actually like to extend you an offer.
Okay, well, what's your offer?
So how much did the engine cost?
It was $149.
What do you say I reimburse you the $149 and then buy a 12-pack of Bush Light?
That works, Bob. I was trying to do something out of my heart because I did break your chainsaw.
You did. You did break a $600 chainsaw.
If anybody watched my piston replacement video on the Husqvarna, that chainsaw never ran again. So if you're following my advice on that one, do it at your own risk.
But I think that's a fair deal.
I tell you what, out of the goodness of my heart, Bob, I got something for you.
Oh my.
We're doing a bartering
gift.
system.
A gift for Dr. Bob. Michael is currently rummaging through his garage, looking for a random piece of crap to give me. Oh my goodness.
So, Bob, since I broke your Husqvarna, I'm just going to give you mine. Because I've started buying Chinese chainsaws, and I love them, and I'm kind of done with them. So, take it. It's yours.
Well, thank you, Michael. This is going to come in handy because I've got to cut firewood for the winter. What I'm going to do also is I'm going to split you a load of firewood, so you will have firewood at the house.
What a great deal.
We'll just call it a deal and shake hands on it if you're okay with that.
That works.
All right.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I think I actually broke both your chainsaws.
No, I got the other one running.
You got the one
I
running?
found out what was wrong with the,
Okay.
with the Rancher 55. So,
Right.
and I
Rancher
fixed it.
55 is still good, folks. If
You know
you've
what
seen
was
that
wrong
video.
with it?
Huh.
It ran out of gas.
Yeah, Bob's that type of buddy who is hard on equipment, and he's not big on maintenance. So with that, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. If you watch this long, we'll do something stupid again next week. Mower Mike's out. Dr. Bob's out.